This may or not be the first or second time we've done this.
It might. What number is this?
162.
Wow, shit. I was thinking we were going to come up to our 150th. I didn't realize that we shot past it.
Yeah.
I'm paying attention.
That's fine. I've stopped doing the Google Doc for the show because...
Yeah, I think I ordered, or no, I had somebody ask to order something at work from Amazon. They were looking for a link.
Oh, yeah.
And so I used our affiliate. And I was like, well, I haven't done that since I left Parmatech. That's fun. Which is stupid. I ordered so much shit moving here. And I don't know why I didn't use our fucking affiliate the whole goddamn time.
So I can't use it.
Okay, yeah, because you're on the account.
Yeah, it's linked to me.
Right.
I'm logging into it to see. But there's been also, you're literally like the only person that has ever successfully used it.
Well, because I go through the fucking process of adding the link on.
Oh,
well, it's not easy. It seriously, I don't know that the click through ever worked right, and so I always add the question mark / whatever at the end of stuff when I order it, or when I set up a link for someone to order something from Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
So it works well when we were recommending the movies and having people purchase stuff in our show notes, if we're setting that up ahead of time. But otherwise, it's bullshit. I don't know how Jack and Dan pull it off.
Beatmaster and Erica they both have noticed that you're set up differently.
Yeah.
It scared the shit out of me too.
And I'm glad that it's not doing the widescreen. I mean, obviously it has to somewhat.
Well, I cut it down.
No, I appreciate that because I can't get it to do it on Linux. There's no Logitech software for Ubuntu. Yeah, I know. I'm not bragging on Linux. I'm complaining about an aspect of Linux that I would prefer not be that way. But it just takes in too much of the Windows. And so I wanted to try to cut that off a little bit. And as it is, I'd still like to get the windows covered at some point, or at least have something so that there's not so much light coming in behind me, although it doesn't bother me on yours. Right. I don't know why I feel differently on mine.
Because you're looking at yourself as compared to someone else?
Well, if that's the case, I'm just going to cut myself. It's.
I've been drinking all day.
Beat wants to see my new pet spider. The pet spider is downstairs, although there was a little one that I saw up in the corner earlier when I moved shit around.
Your whole podcast is down. That thing is disgusting.
Thank you.
No. Get rid of it.
There are so many fucking flying bugs. We're on a river. There are a billion flying bugs, and anytime we cut the grass, the birds go nuts and they just love us. They're all over our lawn, but for the most part, there's like all these gnats and stuff when I go out to get in my car in the morning, and there's flies and things, and Bean's doing what he can, but Bean's one fucking kitten, and a well-fed one.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah, I appreciate a spider here and there, just not on my fucking bare leg. That shit doesn't fly. I mean, it flies because I flew the fuck out of the room. Yeah. But that was not a nice start to my day. Pissing and running.
I always feel bad when I mow the lawn because I hit a lot of frogs, and that's not on purpose. It's just I can't stop before I most of the time. But then the chickens eat them, so I'm just feeding my chickens by murdering frogs.
So you're like getting a turducken version of chicken legs, where you got frog legs wrapped up in chicken legs?
Yeah, but I don't eat my chickens. So my chickens are turning frogs into eggs.
Does
that work?
Cool. So like tad eggs?
Egg. Fregs.
That sounds like a Nickelodeon guy.
You're gonna get covered in frag. Oh, Erica called me a murderer. Well, you're an asshole. So, I promised her I wouldn't swear because she said her daughter was still going to be awake. So,
oh crap! I've already dropped a couple F-bombs.
Sorry.
Although in my voice it sounds like a goddamn children's book.
I did promise to say goo goo before fuck, so goo goo fuck. Does that work? Oh, she's in the other room. All right, cool. Fuck, fuckity, fuck.
Fart.
Oh, fart. Well, I guess if you're listening to this, you probably care about what movie we're talking about. Oh, Beatmaster, we did a PG pot once.
We did.
4
we did
years
the kids episode. Was that the Five Nights at Freddy's, or was that? Boy, that was tough.
Well, it definitely was not easy. And now the children in which we did it for are old enough to hear the word fuck.
And of the Corn, as kids grow into.
Corn's a great band.
Yeah, that's right. Children of the Corn is the basically the Wolfgang Van Halen version of the Corn kids growing up and doing their own stuff.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
They actually spell corn with a C.
I thought it would have been a K and a forwards R. I don't know if that would really make enough of it. A backwards N.
Dad, I care about spelling. I don't know about you and your weirdo friends.
Dad, the bands you listen to spell their names wrong. Like Limp Bizkit. Corn. That was a big thing in like the late 90s, early 2000s, was spelling your band name wrong.
Yeah, well, it seemed like it got really big when nobody could get their URLs. So like everybody dropped E's out of shit or put E's on stuff. Like eHarmony is an eBay, but like then it's just Tumblr without an E and Grindr without a vagina and whatever else.
There no E in Grindr? I don't know.
I don't know either, honestly.
No vagina in Grindr though.
I have to assume.
Beat does say corn, Korn, is correct if you're German. I mean, he's got us there, but
that's true. Beat is from Germany, so
I don't believe you. Unless he originally started there. I don't know, but I do remember he is from Switzerland. This is becoming a weekly thing. Where does Beat live? We should probably get some.
There's going to be a quiz on the 200th episode, everybody.
It's just going to be, I want like some sort of like weird German techno where it's like, where does Beat live?
He's like our version of Dora the Explorer.
Yep. Where is Beat this week? Beatmaster is in España. I don't know if he's actually still in Spain. He may be back in the Swiss motherland.
Is it a motherland?
Well, I know his mother is in Spain.
Oh, okay.
With his mother's land currently. I don't know if that's his origination. I'm just going to continue to ramble incoherently until we get a response from him. Oh, he is back home. He's back in Switzerland. Switzerland, home of the greatest cheese ever, Swiss cheese. That's actually not true. I made that up.
No, that's no Gouda.
No, but Swiss is the greatest. It's the superior cheese.
It's a very good cheese. I'm a Parmesan guy myself.
Swiss is the Third Reich of cheeses.
There's a lot of holes in that theory.
It's the master cheese. Erica says we should get a PoT shirt that just says Beat lives in blank, and the wearer fills in the spot.
And if we can get like a Velcro strip sewn on, and then everybody can buy their choices and pin the beat on their shirt.
Oh no, that's what we do. So we get a world. It's just a world map, and then there's like a Velcro beat, and you just put the beat where it is.
Show us on the map.
If I'm the one drawing the map, it's just going to be the state of Wisconsin.
It's funny how everything seems to live by Matt's ball.
It's either that or the taint.
God, I think that's where I live. That explains the spider.
So it's really funny that I was able to work the word taint into this. Our friends over at the Haunted Heart podcast did a smut episode for me.
Yeah, I saw you were talking about that.
Called Taint. Fucking horrible. I couldn't masturbate to it. Which made it even more concerning because I was driving while
couldn't masturbate. Were you sober?
I was.
That's the problem.
I was also driving. Not that that's ever stopped me from jerking off before, but it just wasn't good. They knew it. They got to the end. It was not very. It wasn't sexy.
It wasn't.
It was not sexy.
I can't imagine those two not being sexy.
Oh, the story wasn't. The two
okay.
were. Kenny did very seductively say my name, I almost came right there.
Just like you say Matt 3 times and all of a sudden he erupts in orgasm right in front of you.
Yeah, even if I'm not around. If anyone says my name 3 times,
so he's like a beat off juice.
Oh man, I wish I could name beers because I would name one beat off juice.
I think that's just when you refill the cans after you left them on your kitchen cabinet, and you're like the next morning, like I need to land this somewhere.
Yeah,
that'll be fun for the recycling.
Sometimes you got to roll out of bed with your dick tip pinched, and you got to like 2-step shuffle with your shorts around your ankles.
I'm nearly 48, so I've got a whole another pinch that I'm getting up in the morning with.
Well, I don't pinch that until like 9 a.m. and then it's just getting from my desk to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Eric, I hope your daughter is still in the other room after this conversation. I kind of forgot.
Where we live, we've got to have brown carpet.
Ooh, I just don't have carpet. I have brown floor though. I wonder if you can see it. If I move the right direction, look at that sweet brown hardwood floor.
Nice. Did you guys install that yourself?
Fuck no.
Oh.
Have you ever seen me do anything?
No.
Yeah, it's not good.
But I only ever see you on the show, so I think that kind of explains his own thing.
I assumed you somehow are watching me do things around my house. No, because it's actual hardwood and not just laminate, we paid someone.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more difficult.
But you added it after you got the house.
Yep. Yeah, there was carpet in here.
Yeah, I felt like I remember that you had done a bunch of remodeling and stuff when you guys moved.
Yeah, we did leave the scribing in this closet door where the boy who lived in this room said he hated his mom and dad.
Yeah. It's just like, let me free. My real parents want me back.
Yeah, that's a good point. Beat says this is the only hardwood this room will ever see. That is true. A felon slept in this room once, so that's cool. That is a true story.
Yeah, I'm almost exactly a year into living here, and I just moved shit around to be able to put my pulpit over against the front window. I was tired of it being with me sort of trapped in the closet. I thought the closet was going to give better acoustics.
It sounds the same in my opinion.
Because I got such a great mic from you guys. Again,
That's
thank
true.
you to the Back Network for purchasing this microphone for me. But yeah, it is pretty much the same. It's just I'm still trying to figure out the whole aesthetic of this place. I've got this blank space behind me now that I'd like to put up some artwork, either of Aaron's or of Levi's at, or maybe Phil's. That would be nice.
Drawing.
What's that?
A big dick drawing?
If it is a portrait of you, I would treasure it. Will you do a tasteful nude?
Yeah, of course I would.
So you won't be in it?
Yeah, I guess if that's what you want.
No.
Beat says, did he at least wear a Drawn Lifeguard shirt? Who are we talking about? Christ? Christ. The only hardwood in the room is Beat is on fire. Did he at least wear? I'm so confused.
So as usual, we're paying attention to the chat instead of talking about the movie.
No, it's fine. We'll get to Hobo with a shotgun soon. The felon. Oh, no, he didn't. No, I gotta tell the story. So, a friend's band was in town, and they stayed at my house because we played with them. And one of the guy who slept in this room, because there's 5 of them, 2 months later got arrested for a felony. We'll leave it at that. He had bought a CD at our show, but he tore a $10 bill in half. Now every time I see a fucking $10 bill, I think of him. And it's like one of those things where you don't like the guy's not a friend anymore. I've had to completely write him out of my life. But he didn't buy a shirt. Fucking prick. He could wear it to prison.
He could
get us some of those sweet streaming plays in prison.
Yeah, do they have a Spotify there?
I'm certain. If you can send emails in prison, I feel like you can get a Spotify. Randy's not a felon. He just has a fucking really gnarly beard.
They play your music in the quiet room.
You know what?
This will teach you.
They put him in solitary confinement and just play our 5-song EP on repeat. That is 23 minutes long. which means you can listen to just under 3 times an hour, 24, 60, 70, 72 times a day.
Oof. And you will make a whole 3 cents.
Yeah. I would feel worse for the person.
Yeah.
Songs are good, but not 72 times a day.
I want to hear the fucking album that Matt sang on. You pressed the fuck out of me last week when you said that you were actually a singer in a band at one point. You were doing the Phil Collins bit, and I want to hear that.
The first band I recorded a CD in, I do backup screaming, which I believe I have on a computer somewhere.
That wasn't intentional. That was just Matt trying to get away. I didn't know it was Striper.
I do. I vividly recall the guy who was recording us, because the guy who ended up doing vocals on the entire CD was also a drummer at one point, and him just being like, "Wow, man," he goes, "Fucking drummers apparently are angry around here." I still listen to it once in a while. Like the JR, who was the vocalist at the time, who's currently in Drum Lifeguard, feels very differently about that CD, because he was really into System of a Down at the time, and you can tell. You can very much tell.
Yeah, we all kind of wear influences on our sleeves the first time out.
Yeah, I don't. For being 19, I thought it was pretty fucking good compared to what other bands were doing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you had a high step up to get to it. It sounded like System of a Down.
No, you just made it sound like circus music, and you're in the wheelhouse.
There was some Three Dog Night playing at the restaurant on Friday, and it had circus music in it. And I'm just sitting there talking to the guys that I work with, and I'm like, my psychiatrist has told me that I have to ask, does anybody else hear the clown music? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, thank God.
You should.
And then we went and saw it.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, man. How was it?
Oh,
cool. I got
uneven. It really shines brightest when it shows the kids again, and it utilizes the kids from the first one a lot.
Okay.
There's a couple of high points with the adult actors. Really good cast, but I just felt like most of the stuff they did with them was just them running around and not doing much, not being about them much. It was a little weird. I think it'll play better when you watch the whole thing at once.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the first movie so much that I can't hate the second movie, because it means I won't get to enjoy the first movie in the same ways. I mean, I guess I could just ignore the second movie, but
yeah. So I'm gonna see it Friday. So today's Sunday. I'm gonna see it Friday. Very much looking forward to it. But since you mentioned it, I do want to point out, so there's another horror convention coming up in November down in Chicago. It's Days of the Dead Chicago, November 22nd to the 24th. I'm really glad I just said that out loud. Sergeant Slaughter's going to be there, for one.
Cool.
Every child from It.
Wow.
The Soska sisters.
Awesome.
And fucking Danielle Harris.
Very, very awesome.
Or not. She's gone.
Oh, no.
I know. I just want to double check she's not here. Oh, no. That was literally the one I was looking forward to the most. Oh, no. Did you hear about Sid Haig?
I heard that he was having some health problems.
He's in fucking the ICU.
Yeah.
After an accident, they didn't really say what it was, but.
And he needs to come through.
No, for sure. I need to meet that dickhead.
Well, and just in general.
Oh, no, totally in general.
Seems like an enjoyable dude. Yeah, I saw Bill Moseley had posted something about Sid's wife, saying Sid wasn't doing so hot.
Yeah, I haven't really heard what kind of an accident, like if it was a car accident, if it was a masturbation accident.
Or the same thing if it's you.
What was that?
Or Kevin Hart.
Oh, yeah. I forgot Kevin Hart was in an accident too. Although it turns out, they always say something super horrendously offensive, and then that's when something bad happens. Huh. Yeah.
I don't know if there's a time when Kevin Hart isn't really on that list then.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's still pretty funny, but I just whatever.
I don't have anything against the guy. I mean, I enjoy him a lot of stuff, but anytime I see him doing stand up or hosting like an MTV Awards kind of thing, he's just yelling. He's just yelling the whole time. Like Aaron always asks me, "Who's that guy?" That's a guy that yells. Oh yeah, okay. And he's very small and loud. He's a little firecracker. That's fine. If that's your thing, man, that's totally cool.
He was enjoyable. I think it's starting to get a little old, but I still think it's enjoyable.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly it. It after a while, shtick gets old. The Holmes and Watson movie with Farrell and
John C. Reilly.
Yeah, like I haven't watched it yet because I have no desire to watch it. It seems like everybody who should have been into it was totally like not into it at all.
Yeah.
But Erin loves Step Brothers so much, I keep thinking at some point we're going to watch it, and she hasn't popped it on yet. And I'm sort of surprised.
It's fucking garbage.
And that's the thing. Is it garbage because it's the same thing, or is it garbage because it's somehow not the same thing? What is it?
They're not even funny. Like nothing they do is funny.
How do you get those two guys and then the people who made the stuff that they've done together before together and make it not funny? At least as far as like on track with what they've done before. How do you manage to do that?
Like the interactions and the lines aren't funny. It's not like Step Brothers where you're literally taking a movie about two families with living sons in their 40s, which is far-fetched but not that far-fetched. Put them together and then they're so fucking weird and awkward that they're hilarious together.
Yeah, but I think it's a shtick that only went so far on its own, and it was the people that surrounded them that made it funnier. Like the dad wanting to be a dinosaur as a kid. The older brother was fantastic. His wife was the greatest thing in that fucking movie. She is so good in everything. But I think there was enough around those two guys to uplift what they were doing. Maybe they just didn't care, though. Maybe they were also just phoning it in, which is kind of a problem. I tried to listen to the Ron Burgundy podcast.
Oof, yeah, that is not good.
That is rough. I'm trying to figure out who is this for?
Because I think a lot of what the character was unexpectedly funny. And a lot of what the character is visually funny. So for them to just talk for 45 minutes, it's not funny.
I think of the scenes of him in the movie where he's sitting there and he's doing the banter back and forth in front of the camera. That's not really visual. But maybe it's who he's bantering with. I don't know. That I downloaded it because, again, I thought that my wife really likes Will Ferrell more than I do. And again, I like Will Ferrell. I just don't love all the stuff that he does. But I listened to a couple episodes or tried to, and I was like, this is not working for me. The Conan show was good.
Conan has a podcast?
Yeah, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. That's a pretty solidly funny podcast, but he gets really good guests, and I think the guests kind of bring it up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know what to say about it.
Yeah, and then we've got us.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, sometimes we have guests and they make us funny. Everybody and their dog has a podcast. Yes, Beatmaster, that is true. Someone had recently asked me, like, oh, I saw you do podcasts. Like, I want to do this. How is this? How do I do this? I'm like, what makes you different than any of the 10,000 other people who have a podcast? I was like,
was he asking us?
He was asking me.
Nothing. Nothing makes us any different or any better, other than the fact that we do it. I think that's part of it. I heard the guys, and this is probably about 4 or 5 years back, I heard the guys from My Fanboy get asked a question. It was a reader mail thing or whatever. Get asked, how do you start a comic review podcast and make it succeed? And one of them was like, start 5 years ago.
Yep.
Because that's exactly it. It's the showing up and doing the work. And, obviously we're not at the level of some other podcasts, even some new podcasts that are out there, as far as listenership or even just what we put into it. But we come and we do the job. We do the show. And like Matt surprised me with us being over 160 episodes. you got to keep doing it. You know, I've done and abandoned a couple of shows.
That's the thing where it doesn't necessarily fucking matter what you're talking about. It's that people like you.
And they get a feel for you, and then you don't let them down by not showing up.
Yeah, or you just let them down by doing it whenever the fuck you feel like it.
Well, yeah, that's true. But we do both of those things.
Right, but our listeners continue to come back, and we're very, very grateful for all of that, and we've made a lot of really good friends along the way. So it's hard to, even if we stopped this show today, it would be really hard to consider it a failure in any sort of fashion because of the people that we've met doing it.
Right. When we took the break the last time, and I know we've taken a couple breaks for different reasons, but the last time, the only thing that bothered me was not, oh, we stopped the podcast without really doing what we want to do with it. It was, I just miss hanging out with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was it. I miss hanging out with you. I miss hanging out with the people that we get on here. And so that was hard. But the doing the show is for me, it's fun because I get to you. We get people like Beat and Erica and Growly and Phil Rude.
Erica's name again. You say her 3 times, it's like Beetlejuice. The fucker's gonna show
up. Cool. Erica. But just, you know, I
text me now. I know it.
I kind of was thinking about this week. Is that in the last 5 years or so, or at least probably since we've been doing this show, so at least 4 years, it seems like almost every new contact friend I've made through social media or whatever has been people who are creatives, you know, people who make something, who write or draw or podcast or do some sort of storytelling. And it's really funny to me because I can't think of anybody that I've met other than like through work or something that hasn't been a creative. And even through work, most of those people are creating something. And I kind of think that's incredible, is that it's not like everybody's, you know, super well-known artists or comics people or movie makers, but a lot of them are. And even if they are, it's not like they're all at some like giant level. It's just the fact that people are making things. People feel empowered to create something. Mm-hmm. And again, it could just be that I am in a lucky spot that I am surrounded by these people and I keep finding more of them. But I think that's just insanely cool. And it's the amount of love of wanting to do that and wanting to support other artists that gives me a lot of joy in my life.
Yeah, I agree. I had a point at some point in there and I lost it. Not because of you, because I've been drinking.
Yeah, are you the reason why there's a White Claw shortage?
You're like the fucking 5th or 6th person to say that. Alyssa sent me a picture earlier today, which I then sent to Erica. It was a cookie, and it said the Beastie Boys did not fight for your right to party, so you could drink White Claw.
Yeah, but now it's only 2 against 1 instead of 3. So
they are refreshing and delicious.
I remember drinking Zima. Man,
Zima was before I was legally able to drink, so I never had it. Even when it came back, I didn't get it.
No, because you don't have a nostalgia for it. It's not like it was good, although you might like it. I don't know how it compares taste-wise to White Claw, but just the clear liquid. Like we used to flavor ours with Jolly Ranchers. Or you would roll up little balls of Jell-O and put it in there, and because the effervescence, it would rise and fall, so it would be like a little lava lamp.
Yeah. So someone described the White Claw the best way possible today. It is a seltzer, a flavored seltzer water with vodka in it.
Yeah, it's an alcoholic LaCroix, I think, is all I pictured it as.
Exactly. It's fucking refreshing. You drink one of those cock blasters when it's hot out, all done. You're going to do all sorts of yard work.
No straight lines at all.
No.
But how straight do you look drinking a White Claw?
0%.
Yeah.
I get Beat calls White Claw the drink for hobos. That would have made this movie even better if he just would have fucking popped open a White Claw and crushed the can and then shot someone in the face.
So yeah, this movie was missing. And I kept trying to think of what do I compare this movie to, and there were two obvious ones, and one that wasn't as obvious, but I think would have nailed it if they had done a White Claw ad in the middle. So the first thing we're talking about, Hobo with a Shotgun. The first thing to compare it to is Roger Corman. Death Race 2000 kind of era Corman, just like people getting slaughtered for no good fucking reason, just everybody screaming and being dumb. Second is Trauma, which Trauma obviously was the next generation of Corman stuff. And that's your Toxic Avengers and Trauma and whatever. And then what I first landed on when it started up, because I wasn't sure where it was going yet, was RoboCop. And if they had stopped to do a White Claw ad in the middle of this, like the I'd buy that for $1 guy in the middle of RoboCop, then that would have absolutely nailed it at the Verhoeven guy. Because it just was so over the top, kind of silly, gory, everything. I just didn't know how seriously it wasn't going to take things. Compared to RoboCop, which still had a heartfelt story there. This did not do
that. Yeah, I was trying to figure out when White Claw started. Kind of.
You tuned out.
Yeah. Okay, so this movie came out 5 years before White Claw was introduced. So I'll throw that out there.
Was this one of the spin-offs from the Grindhouse movies? Was this one of those fake trailers in that? Because it seems like it poured out at the roughly same time as when we were getting Machete. And
Machete's a great movie, though. Let me see what I can find. Yes.
Okay.
The faux trailer of the same title featured in the Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez film Grindhouse.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. Which kind of sucks because I don't feel like this is a movie that, like, this shouldn't have been a full-length movie.
No. And it felt like a lot of it was them just trying to figure out what to do for the next part.
Mm-hmm. Now, I would also like to say that if you do not give a shit about the story, this movie's fucking great. It's just, I wish there was more murder, less story.
They don't waste any time on motivation at all.
There really isn't a ton of motivation, other than he wants to bang the hooker, or he I don't know if he necessarily wants to bang her, but he likes her.
He wants to take care of her. He feels like some sort of, like, there's something about him being a dad. I could not get into this, and part of it was I watched it like 2:00 in the morning. And I expected to fall asleep to it. I was like, I'll just put it on and then I'll rewatch it tomorrow if I have to. And I stayed up for the whole thing, but I stayed up like really going, when does this stop? But I think like at the beginning, he shows up at this town, which did they call it Fucktown or Scumtown? Something where they wrote up, welcome to hometown, and then they scribble off home when they wrote down fuck or scum or something.
Scumtown.
Yeah. So he shows up in this town. And it's kind of like John J. Rambo walking in First Blood, and just looking all bedraggled and hobo-ish and everything. And he goes to a pawn shop and he's trying to buy something. I could not figure out what the fuck he was looking at that he wanted to buy, but it was $100, and I thought it was like a video game or something that reminded him of his kid. But I didn't gather enough from it. And he eventually goes into the pawn shop and gets I
don't remember whatever he's looking for, but I knew he was looking for a lawnmower at one point.
Right.
And then that's when he also see something that the hooker wants, I believe. And then someone breaks in and wants to rob the place, and that's when he buys the shotgun instead.
Yeah.
Which is
he uses the shotgun and then pays for it, and and that becomes like the $100 thing goes out the window after that point. And he becomes a hero to the town in the next 3 minutes, and then the town turns against him in the next 5 minutes.
Which is strange because for the amount of newspapers that came out, you would have thought something would have happened before that.
Yeah, all the motivation is just fucked up.
Yeah.
It's just really not there at all. So as soon as he gets to town, he wanders down the street and some guy comes running down with a manhole cover around his neck. I don't understand how that worked, but he's screaming, his hands are tied, and he's running, and the people he's running from, it's basically Donald Trump and his two dipshit sons.
Yep.
It's definitely Don Jr. and Eric, because the dad only likes one of them and doesn't give a shit about the other one. And they're just like, they think this should be as fucking important as their father is. And they're like, they don't understand why people don't respect them, as they're fucking slaughtering kids on a bus with a flamethrower and everything else. Like, this town's going to love me. But yeah, so they come and they grab this guy who happens to be the kid's uncle, the main dude's brother. And they drop the manhole cover into a manhole. So his body's underneath, his head's sticking out, and then they put a noose around it, which I think was wrapped in barbed wire, and drive off to rip his head off. What the fuck is this supposed to do? They keep saying like it's for the people, it's a show. I assumed it was like some Running Man thing, except I never see cameras rolling. So, and they're forcing people to watch, and the people are like, we gotta watch, and then it's done, and they just kind of like walk off. Like, they don't give a shit. And Rutger Hauer, the hobo, just kind of watches like, and then like goes on with his fucking time until he runs into the prostitute.
Here's another thing.
Sex worker, sorry.
Damn, hooker, call him whatever you want. The beginning, it seems like the beginning of the rage spiral for said hobo is when he is forced to eat glass for the money in which he purchases the shotgun with.
Yeah, he's basically being filmed for like these bum fights. Yep. You remember bum fights?
Yep.
I do. So it's just some guy is paying hobos and homeless people to beat the shit out of each other or do humiliating things. And I don't understand, with Rutger Hauer being how his character is, how hard edge he is, why he goes and does it and then only comes back and raises a stink once he's got the gun. I feel like he could have beat the shit out of that guy from the very beginning.
Probably.
The gun really doesn't seem to matter. The gun is more symbolic than anything.
Right.
But
which you're not wrong about. But here's my point. Going back to the fact of the number of newspaper articles that they've shown.
Yeah.
Is that his mouth is always bleeding more and more every time. So you're insinuating that this took days, potentially weeks, to get to a point where the city loved him and his fucking mouth never stopped bleeding. He would have been dead.
Well, I mean, never distrust the power of Listerine, especially Cool Mint.
But then you think it would have stopped the bleeding? It
wouldn't stop the bleeding necessarily, but it would coddle the infection. I used to love Cool Mint Listerine. I can't handle that fucking alcohol in that now. I don't like the burn.
Barely brush my teeth. That's
I'm a Crest man.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know in the movie.
So yeah, he goes to a club because he sees Fucker and Pucker go into the place, and he follows the kids in there, and they're beating up people and indiscriminately killing people. There's a lot of indiscriminate killing of people just because it's a good old time. Like, there's somebody's head who gets crushed between two bumper cars when you first get in there. But then the guy is definitely bullying and stealing the lunch money from some nerd, right? In the arcade.
Yeah.
He's like, you better get your mama to pay you your allowance. And it better be a big fucking allowance. Like, the fuck are you 12? Did I not understand the process of who these characters are? And then the sex worker interrupts and is like, hey, leave him alone. He's just a kid, which he also didn't look like he was a kid. He looked like in his late 20s.
Right.
And so Fucker goes and he's like, ha ha, you're gonna fuck me now, and drags her off to instigate a sexual encounter. And that's when the hobo goes and stops it.
Yeah, like it didn't really line up. The fact that they were showing this dad and his two sons who were doing all this insane shit, and then the hobo who also just randomly purchased a shotgun and started killing everyone because he was upset about it, who then somehow were linked together because the hobo punched a kid, and like it was really fucking far-fetched. But I reiterate, if you do not fucking care about a story, this movie's great.
It does do some of the one-liner shit. I can't remember any of it now.
I don't remember any one-liners. All I remember is good goddamn gory fun.
Yeah, a lot of gore, a lot of that. It seemed like I'm watching it. I go, well, Matt's gonna like this because Matt likes Santa Slay.
I love Santa Slay, and I also enjoy seeing Goo Goo, Goo Goo, Goo Goo, Goo Goo. Goo Goo. Erica asked me to do that because Evelyn's not watching. Her fucking 2-year-old daughter is watching this. Yeah.
You got to show kids the examples of what not to grow up into.
Yeah. Don't turn out like your Uncle Corey and I.
Mm-mm. Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to be podcasters.
We're basically cowboys of the 20th century.
That's true.
Pete says, don't kid yourself. We all know that this isn't Rutger's best movie. Well, no shit. I don't think this movie was ever expected to be good. But for some reason, enough people saw this trailer in Grindhouse and they're like, you know what would be really fucking cool? If that was a real movie. And then someone paid for it. Like that's a kind of a problem.
How many Grindhouse movies have you actually watched? Like not the modern day Grindhouse, but the old school Grindhouse stuff?
0.
So I watch Creature Features. I used to watch Creepy Coffee Movie Time.
Yeah.
They would play some of the Grindhouse style stuff, and I've seen some of the Grindhouse things. I feel like we've done one or two on here that were just like in that awesome zone.
Yeah.
They could still be considered horror, but they were definitely Grindhouse stuff.
But I still think they at least wouldn't have such a loose fucking story.
No, they do. They absolutely do. It wasn't about giving it a deep story. It was about like just doing the most bizarre, awful stuff. It's like a zine mentality. It's like, how far can we go? It's the underground stuff. It's like Aaron's art. You know, some of the stuff that Aaron does is in that vein. But I still feel like there was something missing to this. It had the ability to do all the Grindhouse style, but also be a little bit more, and it just never tried to reach out further. And I found that disappointing. Because it really could have been better in that regard.
Well, no fucking shit, it could have been better.
I don't know what it would have taken. Someone giving a shit, probably. But
to your point that most Grindhouse movies were similar to this, where they had just a shitload of loose plot holes.
Yeah, I mean, have you ever seen Death Race 2020?
Yeah, but I don't remember.
Or Death Race 2000, sorry.
I don't remember the story, but yeah, I know I saw it.
The story is very much not there. It's just a race where people have to go and kill people and collect points doing it.
So I think these movies are designed to be put on in the background when doing literally anything else.
It's designed for the old school Saturday night, Friday night in the theaters, or the dreg theaters, the theaters that nobody's giving a shit about. The carpeting's peeling off the walls, half the speakers are blown, and everyone's drinking and throwing food and stuff in the seats. It's like the idea of Rocky Horror taken to another level, and where the guys know like the theater's going to get shut down soon. They're coming to take us fucking jobs away. But it really is like, it's just for the shit starters to go and be loud in a theater and have something to watch and rile them up further, and then they go out drunk on the streets and try to reenact some stuff and die.
Yeah.
It's not a movie to watch at home by yourself on a Saturday night sober. That may be part of it.
I watched it on a Sunday morning. Wait, Saturday morning. It was yesterday.
Not sober, right?
I was sober.
Oh, that's too bad.
Well, it was before I mowed the lawn.
Oh, okay.
So it's like fucking 8 in the morning. If I was drunk at 8 in the morning, I'd have more problems than
But then it riled you up to go mow the lawn drunk.
I wouldn't say it riled me up. It was just like, well, this is the next step in my day.
I'm gonna go kill some frogs.
I killed so many frogs. You don't know terror until you've seen a fucking chicken take off running to eat a frog. Run away with its lifeless body hanging out of its mouth.
Yeah, Silence of the Clucks. It's pretty fucking weird. It's bizarre to see, like, they're animals, but the animalistic nature of just the fresh kill must eat.
Yeah, it's really weird to see them like take off running at anything that moves.
Yep,
very strange.
They're kind of like they're a pack animal though.
I call them prehistoric murder birds.
Yeah,
which is exactly what they are.
And yet you don't eat them.
I mean, I'd eat frog legs with someone.
No, I meant the birds.
Oh no, yeah. They get real tough. They some old bitches. Where are we in the movie?
Fuck. So I know that he goes to talk to the cops. He brings fucker, not Pucker, to the police, and then the police are like, "Oh yeah, we sure could use you in this town." And then all of a sudden, like, it's all a ruse. We're working for Mr. Dickhead, and yeah. And then Pucker comes in, and Fucker and him beat up the hobo and kick him out, but then don't kill him. Again, indiscriminate killing of everything else that they feel like it, but this guy they don't kill. They just throw him over the ledge, and he's all beat up and goes and stays with the sex worker, and sleeps in her bed, but doesn't sleep with her. And they have a whole sweet conversation about bears because she's got a sweatshirt with a bear on it, and that's her heart.
Fucking weird too.
Yeah, it's like we need to give them something to connect on, and he was just like trying to be a dad. He's like, "Oh, well, you know, some facts about bears is blah blah blah," and I'm like, "Don't Mr. Rogers me in the middle of this shit. Is she getting naked?"
Yeah, I didn't see any titty.
No,
from her. There were titties later.
There was definitely.
Yeah, at least 6 titties.
5.5. Yeah, so the shotgun thing happens. The Fucker and Pucker go on the school bus and decide to kill all the kids with the flamethrower. That makes the news. But again, the town still seems to be behind these guys because they killed a bunch of kids. Like, the whole thing about the town is supposed to be just the most debaucherous thing. He goes, at some point, he's in the hospital when she gets beat up, when she gets fucked up really bad, when Fucker and Pucker come in, and he shoots Fucker in the dick. And Pucker's like now the number one son, except he's not. And they like, he slices her neck open with a saw, and so he freaks out and takes her to the hospital. And is like, "You have to save her." And they're like, "Okay, sure, yeah, that's not our jobs or anything. We definitely need you riding the gurney on top of her and pouring shit on her neck. Like, I'm sure that's not infectious at all." But and then she has a miraculous recovery. But while that's going on, some weird demonite things come up. They're called the Purge, and it's 2 dudes in like Home Depot version of Road Warrior armor on motorcycles. One of them is chopping into people, right? He's got a sword or a scimitar and slices into people. And then the next guy has a noose on a spear gun. So he puts the noose around their neck and then shoots the spear gun up the ceiling, and they go and they hang and die. Because, yeah. So during her miraculous recovery, the Purge come in, they grab the hobo, and he winds up with a manhole cover around his neck.
Yep. This is where it started to lose me.
This is
This is
really
where
rough.
it really lost me. I had to rewatch the end of this movie twice because I did not pay any sort of attention.
And rewatching it, do you feel like you got what you missed out of it by watching it the second time?
No, because
Right.
whatever I missed the first time, I watched it and I'm like, fuck, that's it?
It just escalates into nothing. She goes and rescues him by grabbing Pucker and like threatening his life, and the dad's like, you know what? I don't really like you as much as I like your brother, so he shoots his own son.
Yeah,
which seems like we would see Don do that to Eric, right? That would happen.
Yeah, I guess.
I feel like he's already done that to. What's the other daughter, Tiffany?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just say yes.
Missed the opportunity to have an Ivanka in this or Ivana in this. I assume that the woman who just like ripped everything open at the beginning when they first took the head off of the first guy, I thought that was going to be the daughter, but she just disappears in the background. So I guess she was just a prostitute. So yeah, then the purge guys come and they fight with the sex worker while she's trying to rescue the hobo and put her hand into the lawnmower. So she's just got this gnarled bone sticking out of a stump, and she uses that to stab the fuck out of one of them and pulls the hobo up by his hair to get him out of the manhole to get him free. But then she still winds up killing the purge guys or whatever, or finishing them off. Like, she's the bigger badass in this. She's the one who goes in A-teams in the pawn shop to get the lawnmower and rework the shotgun into an axe thing and does all this stuff. So she's way cooler than he is, and even finishes by losing her hand. So she's Ash. She kind of becomes like the Ash of the Evil Dead in this, but we don't get a moment after everything finishes, which is really quick after this point.
Yeah.
It's like the whole town decides that they're going to stand behind the hobo when the cops come to stand behind this boss hog motherfucker. And
it's a really good way of describing him, actually.
Yeah, and it's a big showdown, except like as the cops are all aiming their guns at the hobo, and the hobo's got the gun aimed at boss hog, and he shoots him, and then all the cops shoot him, and then all the people shoot the cops, and she just screams, and that's it, and that's where it ends. And we don't have like a final, like she rides off in the sunset and she's the new badass going to the next town or anything like that. It just ends with he dies, she screams, that's it. Right? Because I didn't watch it twice.
I'm really upset I actually made a point to go back and watch it because it didn't fucking make any difference to the story.
No.
It made no difference to anything. Now
this movie was suggested to us, right?
Yeah, Randy.
I
saw he rewatched it too, so I know he's gonna listen to this. But I say for a third time, if you do not care about a story and you just want visual gore, this movie does exactly that.
If you just have it on mute in the background at a party, like the whole place is dark, everybody's drinking, having a good time, it's like Halloween or Hell Night, then it works fine in that regard. Don't watch it, just have it on.
Yeah, it's great for like a background, and everyone's gonna be like, "Holy shit, watch this! This is fucking," and a head explodes.
Yeah,
that's what it's good for, and that's exactly what this movie should be good for.
And I feel like as a kid, that was Toxic Avenger for me.
Yeah,
that was the kind of stuff that I put on a trauma movie and have it there and get nothing of real value out of it, other than the fact that it was such extreme, crazy shit that I'd never seen before when I was like 13. That I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And I could see that that's kind of a rite of passage stuff when it comes to these kind of films. You know, it's Saw has an actual plot. You know, the extreme stuff that happens in it isn't nearly as extreme as this. What's the other one? Hostel. Hostel doesn't really have shit, but takes itself seriously like it does. You know, it thinks that it's much more cerebral than it is, and it's really edgy. This doesn't think that it's edgy or cerebral or anything. It's just like we're just fucking people up left and right. You know, if you want to see a head just get squished and see all the shit just blow out everywhere, and that's cool to you, this is going to be cool to you.
So Pete says that this movie made even less sense than Machete. Now, I have not watched Machete from a standpoint of having to actually talk about it. So I don't, and that's the thing. Like, I saw Death Race 2000 without even needing to actually give a shit if there's a story to talk about it. Same with Machete.
Right.
This movie I'd watched under the assumption that I would have a conversation about it. So if I had to go back and rewatch it, then we may be having a different conversation about my thoughts on those movies.
And that's also another thing is I don't consider Machete a horror movie. I consider it an action movie. This kind of is a fine line of, does this qualify as horror or is it just weird shit? But we run through that all the time. Is like there's so many different parts of things that could be considered horror and aren't or are. It depends on what you're looking for. I kind of like came out of it as like, well, I guess in a way it is. There's horrific stuff, and it's a kind of post-apocalyptic genre film.
It's a gory movie, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a horror movie. But we take a very loose stance on what is considered a horror movie. So it's very feasible that you could call this a horror movie from the standpoint of it being very graphic.
Yeah, and it definitely lands in grindhouse territory, which can go into horror, and I guess this is the more horror-ish version of a grindhouse film.
I do have one last gripe. The concept that this hobo did not understand that grass grew anywhere else other than Scumtown.
Yeah.
And that's really the last thing I got to bitch about in this movie.
When he gave the speech to the babies of like, you know, you're probably going to be fucked up just because you were born here. You get all this shit against you. I really expect him to just started like blowing them all away. Like, I'm going to save you from yourselves. And just like ching, ting, you know.
Yeah.
Because that's the noise it makes when you kill a baby. If it doesn't sound familiar, congratulations. It's just, I did want something. I get what you're saying is that, you know, pay no attention to plot and it's fun. But I just the even smallest bit would have been worth it. And I'm just disappointed that there wasn't anything like that. That nothing really took that one little baby step towards, like, make sense of this, make a motivation for this, you know, make me care about this person a little bit.
Yeah.
And other than the bear sweatshirt, there was no connective tissue at all.
Yeah. It was a reach. At best, it was a reach.
I would have liked to know more what the purge, the plague, maybe they were the plague. Maybe that's what I was supposed to be. Yeah.
I didn't fucking care enough to correct you, so
no,
I didn't have to.
Like if there was more to them, if they were like some sort of like Horseman of the Apocalypse type of thing, it just anything to make a sense out of it. Why are people doing this? Why is this happening? You know, it just happens. It's a hour and a half movie of shit just happening in an ugly, ugly way.
They're the plague, and it is a duo of armored-clad demons named Rip and Grinder.
Right. Demons.
Yes.
So there's demons in this world.
Yeah, the whole fucking story is just real loose.
And because she kills, you said Rip and Grinder?
Yep.
Is it Grinder with an E?
Yes.
Okay. So she kills one of them. She kill Grinder? Or does she kill Rip?
Fucking come on.
Okay. Either way, she kills one of them. I think the noose one. And the other one is like, well, she killed him, so now she has to take his place. That's the rules. And again, nothing comes of that. And in no way do we see anything about that leading into it. It's just like she kills him.
Abby killed Grinder.
All right. Yeah. So what the
with
fuck?
An E.
With an E. You'll never kill Grinder without an E.
Oh shit, Mike's here. Talk really nice about how much we love this movie.
Randy chose a terrific film.
Oh, Mike, I forgot to tell you we were doing this an hour early. For a fourth time, I will say, if you want gory fun, this is one of your movies. If you'd like a solid story, do not watch this.
I watched another movie right before this one. Because again, I wasn't trying to do the movie thing at that point in time. I was trying to like fall asleep. It was around 1 o'clock in the morning last night, and I'm just like, yeah, I'll just throw something on and doze off. And something kind of grabbed me on the Comcast on the pay-per-view stuff, or not necessarily pay-per-view. It was on Showtime, I think. It was called "I'll Take Your Dead," and it's from some production company in Canada that does a bunch of, I assume, a bunch of horror movies that I had never really heard of. But it was a pretty solid little movie, and it was definitely a little movie. And again, I don't know how much, if you want to get technical, some people might argue that it's not necessarily a horror movie, although it is. But it was way more story and way less of this kind of thing. It was not over the top. It had to be subtle. It seemed like it takes place in one place, which is a farmhouse. It's all about interactions of people and stuff. And I want us to review it at some point, so we'll talk about it more at another time, hopefully. But it just was such a different feeling of finishing that movie compared to going through this movie.
So it's listed as a horror movie. The 2-sentence tagline is: a farmer makes a living disposing of bodies. One day, 3 bodies are delivered, except the young woman is still alive. If set free, the gang will come after him and his daughter.
Yep.
Actually, it doesn't sound terrible. It gets pretty decent. It's got a 5.8 on IMDb, which...
middle of the road.
Not fucking bad.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't mind reviewing it at some point. So I don't want to go too much into it right now, but it was almost the polar opposite of what this film was.
How about in 2 weeks?
Okay.
Because next time I can't.
Sure.
Dan wants to know what you're drinking tonight, Matthew. Oh. Daniel. Sorry, Erica asked what I'm drinking for her husband, Dan. I'm actually drinking this coffee beer that Dan sent me. It's Coffee John from...
Anessa posted a picture of a Wisconsin maple syrup root beer that I have to have.
Let me see what I can do for you. If I find it, I'll gladly mail it to you.
Oh, I wasn't trying to hit you up, but I would appreciate
that. Just fucking Sprecher. Oh, shit. Okay. I haven't seen. I didn't even know that Sprecher made a maple syrup root beer that they put in cans.
Yeah, I haven't found any place that has like really specialized root beers out here like I had out in California, and I may just be going the wrong places, but it just bums me out because I can't find.
I'll keep an eye out because I assume that any liquor store would potentially have it.
And I forgot to look for it when I was at Meyer the other day, but there's a Mountain Dew Voodoo that is supposed to be a mystery flavor.
It's not fucking good.
I'm sure it's not.
Real quick, because I want to talk about this because we actually bought some. And I also have Mere Salt's Raspberry from Narrow Gauge, which is a fucking raspberry sours. Erica always says Nashamanani. I fucking don't care anymore. So we got a 12-pack of the Mountain Dew Voodoo, and we're trying to figure out... I got to think back, but the internet says that it may taste like candy corn. I thought it tasted kind of like Pink Starburst.
I've heard a lot of people say Skittles.
Yeah, Skittles and Pink Starburst could probably be easily confused when you don't know what it was like sweet candy.
Yeah,
like a sweet red candy. I drank like 2 drinks and I'm like, cool, I'm good. I don't like super sweet drinks in general, so...
No, I find the specialty Mountain Dews, the more specialized they get, the worse the flavors are. They just get over sugary, and I guess Mountain Dew is probably over sugar as it is, but I'm just so used to it.
Do you drink regular strength Mountain Dew a lot?
If I drink soda, that is the soda that I drink.
Okay, so I don't
root beer.
I don't touch regular strength soda. Like Alyssa got me, it was black cherry and an orange, like real sugarcane soda. And they were both terrific, but it took me like a month to drink both of them because I just don't like, even if I drink a diet soda, like I drink a diet soda and I'm good for like a fucking month.
Yeah, I bought like a 8-pack or a 12-pack of the minis of Mountain Dew, and they're in the mini fridge over by my desk, and I'll drink like 1 or 2 a week, if that, and that's only if I'm up here playing City of Heroes because I don't want to go downstairs. But I'll get soda if I'm at a restaurant where I question their iced tea. And then it's usually Mountain Dew if they have it, which I found is more the case around here than it was in California. Or I'll have a Coke or I'll have a water. Yeah. But no sugar iced tea is my go-to. I just can't drink a lot of soda anymore, and I don't want it.
Unsweetened iced tea is the fucking Jimmy Jam.
Yeah.
I either drink water or beer, to be honest.
Yeah.
And black coffee. Although, I was getting once in a great while, I'll get like a sugar coffee. So today I got like a toasted marshmallow latte.
Oh, see, that sounds good. And I can't do coffee unless it's like a milkshake or at least if it's hot, a peppermint mocha or something.
It wasn't bad, but I normally get Americanos, which is just espresso with hot water.
Right.
Which is concentrated coffee. And this motherfucker's trying to tell me there's like 200 calories in a fucking iced Americano. That was concerning to me because my problem with prepackaged cold brew coffee is that I just fucking give me black diesel coffee. And every single one of these cock blasters has sugar of some sort in them.
Yeah, I picked up some pre-mixed coffee. It's a mocha in a big tankard or whatever, but it's made with oat milk. And I haven't tried it yet. It's a cold brew mocha.
Goat or oat?
Oat.
Oh.
Yeah, well, I mean, one, I have a problem with dairy as I get older, and I thought maybe I should see what this oatmeal milk is.
Oh. But how do you get milk from oatmeal?
I'm sure that you just grind up the oats and make a liquid out of it, much like you do with almond milk. It's not like almonds have little nipples or anything, and they're milking.
No, and that's what I'm saying is, so I guess I would consider that more of a puree than a milk.
Yeah, but it's just, but they don't want to call it oat puree coffee.
I have to tell you this one. Erica says that I drink oat milk. I'm sure now living in Michigan and having been from there, you understand the whole sorry thing.
Yeah.
I'm glad you get that. I don't have to explain that one. But yeah, I drink oat milk, I guess. Whoops, sorry, milk.
Sounds more like Erica just served you some tea.
She's the fucking one that wants to move here. I already live here. Yeah. So I think maybe just call it a puree instead of.
They're not going to call it that.
No.
If they could not tell you what's in it at all, if they could get away with that, they would do it. I'm sure.
Mystery liquid.
Yeah. Which is what the fucking Mountain Dew is. Basically, Mountain Dew said, "Hey, you know us. We make the fucking caffeinated drink that is terrible for you, except it's not diet. When we get to our diet, then really, your kidneys are just not only shutting down, they're running across the road." But
do you remember when like Mountain Dew was like the caffeinated beverage, and now it probably has the least amount of caffeine out there?
Yeah, it was Jolt Cola before there was Jolt Cola, and then Jolt happened, and everybody tried to be the next big thing. It's like when Slash was trying to endorse Death cigarettes, where it's like all cigarettes have to put some fucking label on them anyways. So here's Death cigarettes, and they make the label the actual warning of like, this is gonna fucking kill you, and this has got all the bad shit in it and none of the good shit. What's the good shit? Who fucking cares? This is gonna kill you.
Yeah. So sorry, Beat is asking if Coke has more Sorry, if Mountain Dew has more caffeine than Red Bull. I think that's his question at least. So Mountain Dew has 4.5 milligrams per ounce. So it only has 67.5 milligrams per 12 ounces. A Red Bull has 115 milligrams per 12 ounces. So no.
And plus taurine and whatever else is in that shit.
Yeah, guarana, which is a natural stimulant, and a 20-ounce blonde roast Starbucks coffee has 475 milligrams of caffeine. That's a fucking lot.
And every time I drink coffee, I fall asleep. I was asleep this morning because I went to bed at like 5 o'clock, and then Aaron woke me up at 9:30 and said, "Hey, I brought you a coffee." I'm like, "Oh, great! I'll drink that and try to fall back asleep." And for once, I didn't. But
it was a warm beverage, made you feel good inside.
Yeah, I don't know which kind she got me because it didn't taste like a regular mocha, and I had gotten a cheesecake frappe last week, and I think she got me a cheesecake mocha because they're in their fall flavors now.
Oh, Starbucks now has a cold brew pumpkin something, and I really want to get one. But back to the whole sugary drink thing, I don't think I'm gonna like it.
No, and she thinks I won't like my oat milk mocha because it's not sugary enough.
Your oat nipples?
Yeah.
So just put a bunch of sugar in your oat nipples.
I could do that. I could do a simple syrup and add it to it if I need to. But I'm trying to not do that. It was like I used to drink iced tea with a lot of sugar in it or a simple syrup in it, and then I just decided to stop. I just like
your teeth start to hurt, or did you just stop?
I just stopped. I just felt like, oh, I probably like one, I don't want to sit here and store for an hour when I'm at a restaurant, and two, I don't need it. You know, I just got used to drinking it without the sugar.
Well, and that's very true. Like, if you don't put it into your body for X amount of time, your body will just get used to not having it and stop craving it.
Well, we're not going to pretend like I don't get sugar from a million other things that I eat and consume throughout my day.
Yeah, there's that. It's really hard to not eat sugar in this country.
It really is. One, fuck Bill Maher, but two, on Real Time with Bill Maher this weekend, his rant at the end of the episode was basically the fact that healthcare, everyone's talking about giving us healthcare, but the reason the people in America are unhealthy is because they eat shit. And I'm like, yeah. I don't disagree with you. But if you go and you try to eat not shit, it's going to cost you 2 to 3 times as much. And that's if you can find places that don't serve you shit.
Yep.
I mean, I'm talking if I go to the grocery store and I try to buy stuff that's healthy for my week, the grocery bill is going to be 3 times as much as if I buy the processed foods, the frozen foods, or even stuff that I could cook myself. It's still not going to be the healthiest stuff. If I want to get a pound of ground beef versus a pound of ground turkey or ground chicken, the ground beef is going to be less expensive. It's going to be something that they ground there on site. It's going to cost probably $1 less a pound or more.
Yeah, and that's something I've certainly been looking into, is getting meat from not Walmart, basically.
Right.
We had talked about getting meat from Stay Classy Meats, which Matt is a big proponent of, but that's fucking $200 for 12 pounds of meat.
Yeah.
That's not cheap.
Nope.
And I'm sure it's good, but
you're paying for quality.
Yeah. And
somebody here in town has cows that they're sending to the slaughter, and they're talking on the local boards about, come claim what you want from it and everything, and we'll set up a price. And I'm sure that it's great, but then I would have to know how to handle this stuff and store it in the amount of time and utilize it correctly. And I don't know if it's necessarily giving me anything better than just buying stuff in the store. It's probably good quality, but
we had talked about
it's still more red meat.
Yeah, we had, and I don't think red meat is a problem. Like, I think eating too much red meat, and not enough like green food.
Yeah,
because obviously the fiber in a salad or whatever helps. Oh God, I'm dying on the inside. It helps push the fucking red meat through. So if you only eat meat and you don't have some sort of fibrous to push the rest through, like that's kind of the problem.
Yeah,
like the problem. however fucking 100 years ago or whatever, when people grew all their food and still ate meat, is they were fine and healthier than we are, because instead of only eating McDonald's or only eating potato chips, they were fucking eating meat and lettuce.
And they were eating the stuff that they were out there growing themselves and working in a physical labor.
I don't even know how we got to this point, but now I'm looking up where to purchase a fucking cow online. All the meat. Beat says he always takes healthy eating advice from PoT. Like as much as we talk about fast food, I do tend to try and eat healthier. Although I will not fucking lie to you, I made these things called armadillo eggs. You'll probably be really into this. You take a jalapeno, you fill it with cream cheese and cheddar cheese, you wrap that fucker in pork sausage, and then you wrap that in bacon, and then I fucking smoked it for 2 hours, and then I broiled it for 2 minutes per side with barbecue sauce on it.
I don't know what I'd have to smoke to find that appetizing. I recently found out that I don't like the taste of jalapenos, but
I fucking love jalapenos.
Yeah, I know. I'm that person who doesn't like jalapenos. I've got the cilantro tastes like soap gene. I've got a lot of fucking issues.
We had Good Eats on last night, and Alton Brown was talking about what makes people taste that.
Yeah.
And I was half asleep, so I don't remember, but it's odd that you say that.
It's a gene. It's in the olfactory sensory system. And I didn't know it for a long time. I just thought, wow, this tastes awful. And then my best friend, who she studied genetics and a bunch of other stuff, she's way smarter than I am. Anne told me, she's like, oh yeah, you probably have that gene where it tastes like soap. I'm like, that fucking is right. Holy shit. I thought it was just people like the taste of soap.
I fucking love I love the smell of soap. I love cilantro too. Erica's trying to fat shame me because of my ultimate meat pizza that I ate before this. It was all right, but there was a lot of meat on there, and then I put more pepperoni on top.
I made tacos for myself for dinner, and Erin's sending me, as soon as I'm done with this, to McDonald's because she's not feeling well, and that helps her kind of like feel better when she's at a certain time of the month.
I like how you're doing this.
Yeah.
No one listening knows what you're doing.
No.
It's a sign of evacuation.
It's more of it's a female issue that causes her to want to have McDonald's to feel normal, to feel better. The greasy food works for her when she's having cramps and about to start her period.
It's chocolate in this house.
Yeah, and there's definitely chocolate too. If I'm sure if McDonald's isn't like every other fucking McDonald's in the goddamn world and has a broken McFlurry machine at after 8:00, then I would wind up bringing her one of those home too. In fact, I'm surprised she's not selling me to Dairy Queen, but
she may ask you to make 2 stops.
Yeah, I would, because that's what I do. But I have not eaten fast food probably more than 5 to 10 times since moving here last year. Whereas McDonald's was a very regular part of my day because I would go there for lunch a lot because it was all I could fucking afford was their dollar menu. I'm not eating better necessarily. I'm just not eating a bunch of fast food. So I made tacos for dinner. Is tacos any better for me or any healthier than what I'm going to go pick her up? She wants McDonald's breakfast. Probably not. Maybe a little bit.
No,
but not hugely. It's not a great diet, but it's what I had to make. I had stuff because I made her hamburgers earlier this week, and I want to use that ground beef up.
Yeah.
But it's difficult. If I had independent wealth, I could afford to eat better, and I would probably eat at least slightly better. But still, a lot of the stuff that I grew up liking to eat, the comfort foods, are not things that are great for you. They're heavy pastas. They're Thanksgiving dinner, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
And every fucking restaurant here is a burger place. Like across the street at our beloved dairy bar, burgers and breakfast. 9 other restaurants around here, burgers, Americana food. My sister and my mom posted something about Culver's might be coming to Three Rivers. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. A new restaurant in Three Rivers. What do they sell? Burgers. Fucking, you can get a burger anywhere and everywhere, and it's about all you can goddamn well get. And that is definitely the Midwest. That is just how it is.
Right. Yeah. So there's any I don't really know how to put it. There are restaurants that do nothing but serve like burgers and steak sandwiches and shit like that. Everything's caked in butter.
Yep.
It tastes delicious.
Yeah.
It is goddamn horrendous for you.
Yeah. Like I was so excited to be in a place where they have gyros, because the places that we had, the little Greek places, or the Greek chain, Plato's, was it Plato's? I don't remember. No, Daphne's in California disappeared, and I couldn't get a gyro sandwich anymore, and I was kind of pissy about it. Out here, it seems like it's one of those things that you find a lot of, but you find it in a same old goddamn diner where the rest of the menu is burgers and breakfast stuff.
Right.
It's just like you're lucky. Oh yeah, here's this sliced up lamb loaf.
Sorry. Erica asked if we've discussed Taco Bell or Hereditary yet. We did discuss Taco Bell. We have not brought up Hereditary because we don't have a guest, so we can't ask them their thoughts on that movie.
But I do have something to say about it.
Shit.
So It Chapter 2 is a 3-hour movie. And I already said it ups and downs. It's not the best movie. It's a good movie. But it has its problems. But it's 3 hours. Endgame was 3 hours. Hereditary was 2 hours, and we left Hereditary saying that thing was fucking 2 hours and just pissed off about it. We left this after 3 hours, and like, other than the fact that the seats were really uncomfortable in our local theater, didn't feel like a 3-hour movie. You know why? Because it was way fucking better.
Good. Okay. I was a little concerned when I heard it was 3 hours.
I also heard that the guy is doing a cut of the two films that's going to feel like it happens in the order that it happens in the book.
Oh.
Now that's just something I saw. Like, somebody said, wouldn't it be great if he did this? And they were like, yeah, it's something he's already working on. So whereas this movie feels like it maybe jumps around a little bit, some of the scenes just kind of cut into them in a weird way. If he's planning on cutting it all together as one long movie, which is what Aaron's going to watch it as probably 1 billion times a month anyways, that could work better. I think that could work to its advantage. Or it could just be people making stuff up on the internet, like the Snyder Cut.
Someone fucking said something about that earlier. I think it was Beat mentioned the Snyder Cut.
Of course he did.
I don't know what that means.
Snyder Cut is the Zack Snyder version of the Justice League movie. Everyone's like, oh, we should get the original Snyder Cut because the one mixed up by Joss Whedon sucked. And it's like, I feel like the stuff that was there from Snyder also sucked just enough on its own.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's going to be better if you add more of his shit to it. And I don't think that it was filmed that way. But I don't know. I don't care. You want to rate this movie?
Yeah. I'd fuck it. Oh man, maybe I'd date it seriously. I don't necessarily know if it's something that I need to own. It's something that I may revisit. Man, maybe let's go with a sport fuck.
Is it one of those things where you'd have sex with it, but you do like shit that you wouldn't do with somebody that you care about, like pee on it? So you wouldn't pee on it because you don't care about it.
Exactly. It's like an adventurous relationship. Like, I would do some dirty stuff to it.
Yeah.
But only because I don't really love it.
It's like when you're 19 and you drove across the country with some friends and you got some strange out on the boardwalk and you knew you're never going to see this person again. So you just really went for it and did all the wacky shit and couldn't believe that she said yes. But she was like, I don't give a fuck. You know, tomorrow I'm getting the penis removed. And you just let it all hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why this conversation is still happening.
I don't know if I can be that nice to it. I really did not love this movie. I'm gonna have to say that I would kill it, and then I would replace Grindr as part of the plague.
Yeah, like I said, like, it's not. Beatmaster said swipe left on Grindr. I don't know if you swipe on Grindr for what that's worth, but I think if you don't really want a lot of it, this movie's just fucking fine.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'm in the frame of mind to enjoy that type of movie anymore.
Right.
And that's we always say that our opinions are not the right opinions; they're just ours. You know, we talk about the movie, we talk about our highs and lows with it, and it's up to everybody to go and check these films out for yourselves and make your own decision. And if this is your jam, man, fucking go for it. I'm not criticizing you for liking it. I'm certainly not criticizing Randy for liking it. I want everybody to just love what they love,
like butt stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah,
exactly like butt stuff.
It's gonna do it for another episode of the podcast here. Talk to you guys next week.
Stay secure, everybody.
In 2 weeks. Did we decide what we're doing?
You said 2 weeks, so
2 weeks.
You made it seem like you had something going on.
Yeah, next Saturday or next Sundays we're having people over for the Packer game at noon. We're playing the Vikings. I will be drunk.
So that's the perfect time to podcast.
Right, but there will potentially still be people at my house.
Which you've done to me before.
We're taking a fucking week off, so I don't have to worry about it. But
yeah,
2 weeks, we'll do whatever movie you talked about.
I'll take the bodies.
Or I'll take the dead?
I'll take the dead.
I'll take the dead.
I'll take your dead.
I'll take your... Eventually we'll get the name of it. I'll take your dead in 2 weeks. So we'll see you guys then.
Stay scary, everybody.
All right. Not quite going to stop YouTube yet because I'm going to do the magic. Oh, I thought you were starting to hang yourself. Like, wow, man, that's it was that bad. Did you have your glasses off the entire time?
Yeah.
And you just put them... I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
I noticed when you put them on. Why did you take them off?
I couldn't quite get my eyes have been focusing less and less. They're probably getting a little bit worse. Maybe because I ate so much red meat. Going blind like the kid who ate only McDonald's and fries and shit. But yeah, I didn't need them.
Yeah. Fair enough. Beat is saying he doesn't believe that I don't understand how Grindr works. As funny as that is, I don't. Even if I was into fucking dudes, I don't.
No, we talked a little bit last week about dating apps, and I think that you and I are fortunate in that we have not had to live in that world.
Mm-hmm. Every fucking day of my life, I'm glad I didn't have to do that.
Yeah, and it's again, it's not to judge anybody who's doing it. It just it seems it would never be my scene. Like I did try to meet someone from the personals and like a local rock zine.
Yeah.
When I lived out in Michigan before, like when I was 22, maybe. She just had a really cool ad, and I was like, sure, I'd like to meet up, but she never called me back, and I don't think I left a very impressive message to her to begin with. So it's cool, I don't know that that's ever something that I could have really done or been good at.
Yeah.
I'm too interactive, and I'm also shy as fuck. So the idea of meeting people is difficult to me. I'm great at going against my nature when I'm like in a situation where I have to be sociable. I'll do it, and I sometimes have pretty good success with that, but that's not who I am, and it's never something that I would just automatically put myself into. I don't know. I like meeting people through mutual friends because I hope that there's going to be a compatibility of they like what I like and vice versa. I always tell my friends who are single, like, go do the things that you enjoy doing. And when you're out there doing those things, you'll find other people enjoy doing them. And that's probably the best way you can possibly meet somebody. Don't go to a place where you're forcing yourself to pretend to do something that you hate in hopes of meeting someone through that situation, because then you're just going to wind up in more situations that you hate.
And that's a big thing that I always heard. It's like, if you don't want to meet someone who's going to fucking party all the time, don't go to a bar to find them.
Right.
which is a novel idea.
Yeah. Like, I guess if you like hanging out at bars, but part of the reason why I left Michigan the first time is because all my friends were just hanging out at bars all the goddamn time.
Yeah.
Oh, this sucks. Really? We're gonna go there and you're gonna drink a lot of beer and do karaoke and pretend like you're a fucking rock star.
I was waiting to see where we're gonna go with this because literally you hang out with me most Sunday nights and I sit here and I drink beer.
Yeah, but I'm not in a situation where it's like the only thing I have to do is sit and watch you drink beer. I can hear you. If I'm at a bar with somebody, I'm in an uncomfortable place, like the back of a Volkswagen, and I can't hear people to have a conversation, which is all I want to do when I'm hanging out with somebody.
Sorry. Erica just says, I could see you surfing porn in your window. I'm fucking setting up the fucking episode.
Yeah. But the picture that he's going to use for this week's episode is definitely a Grindr ad. It's
I know you can kind of see what I'm doing, but
it's very blue.
Yeah, it's the new Windows 10 background.
Yeah.
See, I made it blue. Okay.
I still need to work out the light situation here. I brought another lamp up so I could get light from both sides. But when it gets dark, it gets dark.
Mm-hmm. I need to get I have Philips Hue lights downstairs. I need to bring them in here so I can make a tropical twilight like Jack Pacone.
This whole place is just a difficult situation. I like it. I still like the office up here. I just haven't done a lot with it yet, and have a ton of boxes I need to work through, and no furniture for the other side to do anything over there. Or I'm just gonna have it be a lounge space. Come up here and take naps with the cat, especially when it starts raining.
So, I bet it sounds great up there when it's raining.
Potentially.
Yeah. I don't think it looks bad that it's blackout, but it I literally looked at your window 10 minutes ago and it was not black, and now it is.
Right. And that's us starting at 7.
Right. So
but
if it started at 8, it would already be dark.
Yeah, and it's been dark when I get to work lately. Really? I love fall. Yeah. I got to work at 8:00 on Friday, and it was not sunny out at all. It's kind of rainy day, but it was.
Oh, it's normally sunny out when I go to work I get to work about 8. Last week I got to work on Friday at 6:30, and
yeah, but consider the distance we are from each other and the fact that we're an hour apart.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know how the fucking world works. Yeah, wrap your mind around that one.
Yeah.
I'm not a smart man.
I'm not a clean man.
I do make sure I'm clean. Last thing I need is my spaghetti house to stink.
I shower for you every week when we come to do the show.
Is this the one time a week you shower?
No, it's just that I make sure that I'm clean
when
I come up to do the show. I don't come up here all grubby. I still look like me, but
beautiful man banana.
Thank you.
Oh, yes, Beat. Sorry, I just saw your message. We did do Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
I fucking hated that movie the first and the second, and probably the third time. Didn't care for it, but yeah.
I had problems with it. I don't remember hating it. I just
thought it was kind of cheesy.
And it was definitely cheesy.
Yeah.
But after, what was the one that had Bill Moseley and had a bunch of people in it, but it was the guy who had the Shed of the Dead.
Shed of the Dead, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a turd.
That was incredibly not good.
Nope. Almost as bad as Death House.
Yeah.
Here's a nice piece of shit. Sometimes I feel bad because I expect these movies to at least be halfway decent. Then they're zero decent.
Yeah.
I blame you.
Well, no, I mean, If it was my fault, everything would just be compared to Hereditary, and they'd all sound good.
Oh, I bet they're making a second Hereditary. Well, this episode's still compressing. Let me Google that.
Hereditary 2. It all takes place in one of those dollhouses she made. You can't see any of the fucking stuff that goes on because it's happening in the real world around it. It's just one shot in the dollhouse, and every once in a while, I see somebody walk past one of the windows.
I fucking Google Hereditary 2, and the first thing that pops up is Hereditary 2 trailer 2020.
Oh, God.
And then it says fan made horror. I was like, thank God. Hereditary will not have a sequel, but that does not mean it's the last of its kind.
I'm starting to get a little pissy. Go ahead.
I think that they said this before Midsommar came out, or was announced.
Because Midsommar's been well received.
I'm still waiting to see it, but I believe so.
I mean, Anthony, who didn't like Hereditary, liked Midsommar a lot. I remember him saying so.
Jack liked Midsommar too.
Yeah, and that's two people that I, even if I don't necessarily agree with everything that they like as far as me liking it, I still value their opinions.
Yeah.
I don't know if I asked Jack how he felt about Hereditary.
Let me ask him real quick. I think he hated
it. Erica says she won't rest until there is 6 Hereditaries. Hereditary Requiem is obviously the best one.
I hope you never sleep and you die. Yeah, Beat's right. So they're doing Midsommar with an alternate cut that can only be seen on Apple TV. Yeah. Which I think is fucking stupid. I hate that. I hate that that's a thing. But I will find it.
Everybody's choosing their goddamn battlegrounds of like, okay, I'm on this side, I'm team Google, or I'm team this, and it's like, fuck all of you.
I am team cum swappers.
Yeah. Although if Twitch wants to fucking pay us to be exclusive to them, I'll do it.
Yeah, I'll Twitch all over their nuts.
Mm-hmm. That sounded like my first sexual encounter.
Yeah, that's how everyone's first sexual encounters.
Oh, camp.
Oh, Erica, you're not offended. Shut your fucking mouth. Oh my God, I scared the hell out of me. On the keyboard. Oh my God.
I love the fact that made us poop, and that was your band, wasn't it? Wasn't that your own fucking music?
Yeah.
Right.
It was because I wasn't expecting it. Here, wait for it. All right. Oh my God. Oof.
That would be a literal jump scare in a Blumhouse film. That would be like, oh, everybody's okay. It's just Matt just fucked up on the podcast, and then all of a sudden he gets murdered in the next room.
That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Let's see. Midsommar cut, extended cut. Oh, he is right. I thought I saw. Let's see. Bloody disgusting. So the extended director's cut of Midsommar will be exclusively released for Apple TV. That came out on September 4th. Fuck, it's almost 3 hours long. Yeah, the purchase of Midsommar comes with Ari Aster's extended and unrated cut exclusive to Apple TV. Comes out September 24th. And a Blu-ray digital October 8th. Yep. The director's cut is only on Apple TV. So suck it. Yeah, I feel like so. This is going to become the new norm. So it's bad enough that now a movie, if not 2 hours long, apparently isn't long enough. So now we're going to start double dipping, and you're going to have extended cuts that are going to be exclusive to certain distribution platforms, and fuck me sideways. Fuck.
It's not the distribution platform thing is fine. It's not like it's a closed casket. No, that's not really it. It's not so closed that you can't just get it. Where we're at right now, it was different when DirecTV had an exclusive channel versus Comcast not having that channel, but they had some different channel, and so the only way you could see that stuff is through pirating, because we're not going to switch from dish to cable and back and forth and shit. But when it comes to these services, there's no game of like, oh, you were on Netflix last month, you can't come over to Apple TV all of a sudden. No, you fucking can. You can jump month to month, and there's no cancellation fee. There's no real losing anything. If you re-sign up 2 months later to Netflix again, you're fine. They'll be happy to have you back. At this point in time, it's an open market, and you just have to decide what serves you best and what you can afford. It's a little different with Amazon because you usually pay for a year, but that's because of all the other benefits of Prime versus, paying a monthly fee. And what you can with Amazon is pay the monthly fee and get that shit. Mm-hmm. But I don't have as big a problem with it. It's annoying, and I have concerns for these production companies that aren't owned by Disney that are still going to go exclusive to a Disney or go exclusive to an Apple. They're not owned by them. But if it's the way that you get funding, if it's the way you pay for your shit or pay your people to be able to make your next movie or whatever, I don't have a huge problem with it. But the 3-hour thing, it's like, you know what? When we used to have long-ass movies, what they had was an intermission, so the people knew they could go pee. Aaron managed to walk out at a point during it the other night to use the restroom that literally nothing happened in that couple of minutes that she was gone. And good. But man, it would have been a real bummer if she missed some cool scene because it's a fucking 3-hour movie.
Right. So real quick, Apple TV is like Roku. So it demands a physical piece of media.
Right.
Now, they announced Apple TV Plus, which comes this fall, which is, I believe they're going to try and combat Netflix. Most creative minds in TV and film. All new streaming service featuring original stories.
Yeah, and they'll probably put it on everything. Like they turned iTunes into something that you can get on Android because they want the subscription more than just like, oh, you have to buy an Apple TV to get it.
Yep, and they're selling like a video game controller now too.
Yep, they've got their gaming service coming out, which is going to be like $5 a month, and you get a certain number of games that you can access each month. But that relies on their hardware again. They're not going to do that through Google or through Roku or whatever else. And there's certainly times when, say, Amazon's like, oh, well, we're not going to put that channel on, or we're not going to put our stuff onto their hardware or whatever. And that's a pain in the ass. And that burns those companies, but it burns Amazon more. It's like, well, then maybe I don't need Prime to be a service that I get if I can't watch it on the streaming box that I've already got. That's why I like Roku, is because it's mostly agnostic. iTunes hasn't been on there so far, but I'm sure this new Apple TV service probably will be. And then I can keep using the Roku because I don't think the Apple TV hardware is that great.
Yeah, it's getting obnoxious because I have to jump every fucking time I want something different. I got to jump to someone different.
Yeah. And that is a pain in the ass. But again, compared to when you used to have to call up your cable company and say, oh, the new season of Game of Thrones is out. I want to subscribe to HBO for the next 2 months. And that was shit because you had to call them up and deal with that crap. You know, this is like you're just doing it all online.
I know, but it's still a fucking pain in the ass.
It can be, but it used to be way worse. It would be nice if it was still agnostic and you could just get what you wanted where you wanted it. You can. It's just convenient wise, it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah.
Matt, you could still have an antenna up on your house.
I did. It just stopped working, so I got switched to Hulu TV.
I bet all the frogs took it down.
I don't fucking know why it stopped working, but when we had all those tornadoes is when I noticed it didn't work. And I'm like, the one time I want this cocksucker to work.
I really want Matt to be like the subject of a sci-fi horror movie. Like all the frogs on his farm mutate and start taking over and decide that it's them or you.
Gary Yap wanted to do a horror movie here with rabbits.
Yeah.
And he wanted to film it at my house. I was like, hey, man, come on over, do whatever you want.
It would probably work pretty well.
Yeah, probably. But the episode is up. I have to pee.
Yeah, I pretty much have been floating for this whole episode.
But yeah, so I'll let you go. I'm sure I'll talk to you, but we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, enjoy the game next week. Have fun.
Yes. Enjoy your Mountain Dew. Goodbye.
You